Hi everyone, in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to paint a crackling lightning effect down a power sword. So it's a bit different to the previous power sword tutorial. With this one we're going to paint it over a metallic sword and then add a coloured lightning effect down it to make it feel like it's energized. So just an example of a finished one. So this is my Silver Skulls captain. You can see he's got crackling effect down the power sword there, which looks kind of cool. And you can do this on any power weapons, power swords, power axes. So we're going to do that. So the first thing I've done is I've just painted a power sword normally, just the blade. So you can see that I've just done my metallic blade and then I've just given it a little bit of shading and a bit of highlighting there as well, so we can do our effect over that now. So first thing I'm going to do is I've got my colours ready on my palette. So I've got my Sotek green, Temple Guard blue, Baharroth blue, blue horror and white. So these are great colours for that. They're quite vibrant blues, so they'll give you a nice effect over the metallic. You can change these colours if you want to, but these are the ones I tend to use quite a lot. So using the Sotek green, we'll add some water to that. You need to make these quite thin to begin with, quite dilute. We build them up slowly, so we're making glazes. And then starting off, focusing around the power nodes on the blade, we're going to wash some of that colour in there, and then we're going to start drawing it up the blade to give it the lightning crackling effect. So I'm just going to start washing that colour around the nodes. So we're just glazing it really to begin with, just to establish some colour on the blade. And then we can start playing with some lightning lines. So using this as the focal point, these nodes, you can start drawing up some lines. So use some reference for this. Obviously look on the internet, make sure you've had a look at lightning and arcs of energy. And want it to focus down the centre of the blade, so I know that's where I want it to finish. So still this is quite thin. And using the darkest blue to start with. And let's do the same on this side. So you don't worry about being too neat to begin with, because we're going to make these a little bit bolder as we go through the stages. The thing is with lightning, you have to remember that it forks off, so you can have some leaving the main lines. So you got one bold line there, with some smaller ones leading off. And I want these two lines to join up as well, so we're going to join those as well. And then we keep going up. You can take this quite far up the blade if you want to. So I think we'll have these leaving the blade again, the centre of the blade I mean. So hopefully you can start to see the effect that's going on now. The shapes anyway, you just want to establish some lightning shapes. And we'll take it up the blade a little bit more. So now we've got a shape that you're kind of happy with. Just go over it a little bit more, make it bolder. Get that colour vibrant on there. See, if you're using the glazes, you should still show some of the metallic through the paint, which helps add to the effect a little bit more. So we'll focus around the nodes a little bit more. around the blade. Okay, so that's the first stage done. And then we'll move on to the next stage, which is pretty much repeating that process with temple guard blue, so more vibrant blue. So again, keeping it thin to begin with, and as we work along, we can make that colour a little bit stronger as we go through. So inside where you've just painted that colour, paint a thinner line of the lighter colour. Keeping it thin to begin with. We're washing around the nodes so the colour's more intense there. And then picking out the centre of those lines of the energy. So you keep going over there. You don't have to be super neat with this as well. Sometimes it helps because lightning has got a really wobbly feel to it. If you just move your brush a little bit as you're doing it, it'll give it a natural energy feel. Rather than just straight lines, you can almost dab your brush as you're drawing those lines and it'll give it a wobbly feel, and it'll give it a very natural feel. So again, once that's dry around the nodes, I'll go over it again. I want that colour to be really intense there because that's where the energy is emitting from. We'll draw it up the middle of the blade. Okay, now I'm going to move on to Baharroth blue. Lighter, more intense blue. Same thing now, but obviously we're leaving the other two previous stages showing, if you can. So the colour's getting more intense and lighter and brighter towards the middle of those lines. So once again, give it that slightly wobbly feel. You don't have to pick out the entire line, just some areas now where the colour's a little bit stronger. Down the centre I want it nice and strong, so I'll just make that bolder there. I'll keep going up the blade. So hopefully you start to see the effect coming through now. Focus around the nodes again. Okay, just want a little bit more down the bottom. want these to feel very bright. Same thing again now, but with blue horror. So we're making a thin mix there. So these is just in the brightest areas now, so definitely around the nodes. So using this just as a wash, like glaze. And where the forks meet each other now, this is where we're putting the blue horror, because that's where the energy will be most intense. So for example, down this center part. You should see the effect a bit more now. Okay, so we've got that going on now. And last thing we can do is just a little bit of white where you need it, just in a few spots. Just at the source now, at the bottom. Just a few dots of white at the bottom there. And what you'll notice is on this blade and this blade, there's quite a different finish at the minute. Why that is because we've got metallic against paint. And whilst you can leave it there if you want to, it's nice to give it a coat of lime medium or a varnish so that it all has the same finish, so that it feels pulled in together then, which is quite nice. But before you do that, you want to just get a little bit more colour in the bottom. Some washes, because we've desaturated it a little bit now. Just washing a bit more colour around the bottom. Some blue. I'm just going to make sure I've got my final highlights at the top. Go back in. Going to add a white highlight onto the power nodes, the little dot here and here. And along the lines here. So now we've got our effect painted. We're going to take some medium and we're just going to paint it over the whole blade. Now I won't dull the metallics too much, but it'll just give it the same finish, which would be really nice. So we'll just paint one coat over each side of the blade. There we go, as that's drying, you should be able to see that effect now. So there we go, so that's that. So you can do that with different colours if you want different types of energy, but that's how I tend to do my ones. So hopefully that's helped, showed you the technique and the method and the process. So give it a go yourself, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers. Bye.